The candles were still burning when the words sank in. Oops. Still a disappointment. Frosted in looping blue script, centered, careful, deliberate. Laughter rippled around the table. Too loud, too fast. Plates clinked. Someone snorted. My mother's smile froze, then twitched back into place like she could will it into kindness. I felt the heat from the candles on my face, smelled sugar and wax, heard my name sung out of tune, and understood all at once that this was never a mistake. I didn't blink, I didn't cry. I stood, chair back, bag in hand, calm as a surgeon. That's when my uncle grabbed my wrist, his fingers tight, his voice low and urgent, like I was the one ruining something sacred. "Don't be dramatic," he whispered. "It's a joke." I leaned close enough that only he could hear me. 2 days, I said. You should start making calls. I walked out before anyone could ask what I meant. The door closed behind me with a sound that felt final. The candles burned themselves out in my absence. I didn't look back. They raised me on gratitude, on silence, on the understanding that love was conditional and measured in obedience. I learned early how to be useful, how to fix things, how to listen, how to show up with cash when someone else forgot their wallet. When my mother's sister needed help with rent, I covered it. When my cousin wrecked his car, I co-signed. When my mother cried about how hard it was to keep the family together, I paid the bills and swallowed the resentment like medicine. They called me dependable. They meant exploitable. Every birthday before this one came with a lesson. Don't expect too much. Don't be sensitive. Laugh when they laugh. Accept the jokes that cut because family is allowed to hurt you. I told myself it was love. I told myself they didn't mean it. I told myself if I just stayed kind, stayed patient, stayed available, it would balance out. Entitlement is quieter than abuse. It grows in the shadows of generosity. By the time you notice it, it's already decided you owe it everything. The cake wasn't the betrayal, it was the confirmation. My mother didn't defend me. She laughed last, eyes darting around the table to make sure everyone approved. Someone snapped a photo. Another asked me to smile next to the words, like humiliation was a souvenir. That was the moment something inside me shut off. Not shattered, clicked. I saw the room clearly then. The chipped plates I'd replaced, the chairs I'd bought, the wine glasses I'd gifted last Christmas. I saw the way they leaned back, satisfied, full, not of cake, but of power. Loyalty died quietly. No speech, no tears, just a clean break. I left them with their joke and took my silence with me. In the car, I didn't scream. I didn't call a friend. I didn't post anything. I breathed. Then I made a list. Silence is a weapon when you know where to aim it. I knew every soft spot. I had paid for them, filed their paperwork, balanced their accounts. I had passwords, access, receipts, years of it, all legal, all documented, all mine. I didn't plan revenge. I planned correction. I started with boundaries disguised as errands. I canceled auto payments they didn't realize weren't theirs. I withdrew the load extensions I'd quietly renewed. I sent polite emails confirming repayment schedules that had always existed, just never enforced. I didn't accuse. I didn't explain. I let the system speak. By the end of the first day, my phone buzzed. Missed calls, texts with too many question marks. My mother left a voicemail that started confused and ended sharp. By the second day, the panic had a sound. They gathered without me. Emergency meeting, raised voices, spread out papers. Someone finally read the fine print. Turns out the house wasn't just theirs. Turns out the business loan had a guarantor who was done guaranteeing. Turns out the temporary help had been the only thing holding the roof up. I showed up when the noise reached a pitch that couldn't ignore reality. They were already unraveling. My uncle stood first, red-faced, hands shaking. The same man who'd grabbed my wrist like I was a misbehaving child. "You did this," he said. I nodded once. My mother tried tears, then anger, then bargaining. She said my name like it was a spell. I stayed calm. That terrified them more than shouting ever could. I asked for respect. I said, "You gave me a punchline." They talked over each other. Apologies tripped into excuses, jokes, traditions. You know how we are. I waited until the room emptied itself of lies. Then I slid the envelope across the table. Copies, dates, signatures. A clear timeline of generosity repaid with contempt. "This isn't revenge," I said. "It's accounting." My uncle collapsed into a chair. My mother stared at the cake photo on her phone, finally seeing it without laughter buffering the cruelty. "You embarrassed me," she whispered. I smiled, small, controlled. "No," I said, "you taught me." They asked what would take to fix it. I told them the truth. Nothing. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. I reclaimed. I ended the arrangements. I set the terms. I wished them luck. When I stood to leave, no one touched me. I walked out the same way I had 2 days earlier, steady, unhurried, finished. Freedom didn't arrive with fireworks. It came quietly. A deep exhale, a night of uninterrupted sleep, mornings without dread. They still talk, families always do, but the story changed. Now it's about how they never saw it coming, how I changed, how I'm cold. They're right about one thing. I did change. I learned that love without respect is a debt trap, that silence used correctly can redraw entire power structures, that the calmest person in the room is usually the one who already won. The cake said I was a disappointment. 2 days later, they learned the difference between a joke and a consequence, and I learned the value of standing up without asking permission and walking away without guilt.